Hello, buddy. It's me, Rossco, and welcome to the latest instalment of the Kings of Anglia Fan Social, the show where the KOA Army share their thoughts on all things town. And I'm joined by two fine gentlemen this evening, in Liam from Crewe and Mark, aka Jubster. I was actually thinking the other day, I don't know if I've ever called you Mark Jubster in my life. Maybe when we first met, but ever since, it's just like Peachy. I don't think I've ever called him Chris. Maybe the only time when I first met him. There's loads of different people. Even like Liam. I don't think I'll ever call you Liam. I think I always have to say Liam from Crewe. But boys, thank you so much for joining me. We've got a lot to cover because it's been a busy week on the transfer front. Sheffield United happened. That was rubbish. We're going to move on from that, but plenty of sexy stuff to talk about as the deadline nears. We're going to go, first of all, to good old Liam from Crewe because we did travel up to Sheffield, my friend. Good to catch up, and we had a few drinks in our hotel bar. The football happened and all that, but how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Long weekend on Saturday, especially having had a very long weekend the weekend before, getting back from my parents after a month stranded in Scotland due to snow. So, it could have been a lot better had the football actually lived up to it. But when does that ever happen? When does the football, it's always the football that lets you down.
Yeah, the social is brilliant before the game, everything. But yeah, the football, the 90 minutes normally ruins the whole day. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get good wins, and
it did on Saturday.
Yeah, that was a bad bit of the weekend. But but we're not going to be talking about Sheffield United in this chat because if you want to hear about that, well, I doubt you do. There's other podcasts and other things that we've done on Kings of Anglia. But thanks everyone for joining us live. Share your thoughts and everything in the comments below. Jubster, my friend, you are, from what I see, you're a globetrotter. You get yourself about. I like that. I think I saw on your socials. I don't know if it's private or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. You've got like a map of all the countries you go to. You've got flags and stuff. How many countries, at the top of your head, that you think you've been to?
Oh, it's evening, Ross, evening, Liam. Easily 30 countries at the moment. That little video you're referring to is I've got like a little map ball where I put pins into the different airports that I've landed at around the world. So I've been as far east as Hong Kong and Ho Chi Minh City, and as far west as LA. And as you've asked, this time next week I'll be over the east coast of America as I'm got a 10-day holiday in Jamaica to look forward to. So heading to Kingston Town. I'm going to be spending the 10 days in Oca Rios on the northern part of the island. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
That's good. And my doorbell is just rang, so I'm going to have to answer that. So Liam, ask Jobster a bit more about that, and we'll get into transfer stuff. Actually, no. What I'll do, let's talk about a link that's happened. Sammy Smodics, a bid's been rejected from Ipswich Town for Derby. Thoughts on that as I answer my door? Go.
From my point of view, I think it makes sense. He's had a weird career at Town, and I just don't think he was the right fit for the team. I think they looked at him and the goals he scored at Blackburn and thought, oh, hang on, here we go. We've got someone who's a goal scorer. Let's see if that can translate to the Premier League. And to be fair, he scored some big goals in the Premier League against some big sides. But that number 10 role, he just doesn't fit that. I guess the second striker doesn't work in the McKenna system. As we saw with Akpom as well, I just don't think as a 10 he's in the right position. Actually, I think he was better last season coming in off the left, but of course we don't have any room on the left anymore. So I think it's probably for the right reasons to let him go, because he's well down the pecking order, and injury problems have been a big issue for him. So it opens up a space, doesn't it?
It does. I was listening, by the way, the headphones in when I was walking downstairs and opened the door. So I heard everything that you said, Liam, and good points. I'm going to quickly go in the chat, though, because we've got a few people saying evening. Side Panther, evening, chaps. He went, thank goodness you're not talking about the game, which is true. Got Tom all the way from Spain. Evening, gents. Good to hear from you again, Tom. Chris, the Flash, 72 what was it, 7,200. He said, "Hey guys," and also Justin, even all. But yeah, get your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Just what you think about this with Sammy Smodics, because I think I jinxed him in the summer Jubster. I put him down as the MVP, the top goal scorer, and he, of course, got injured early days. He's only scored once all season, which is not great. Chris is from Tenerife. Love that. Spanish. Hola, amigo. Hola, amigo, and all that. It's all off though, into my Spanish. Dean Cooper as well. Evening all. Good evening, Dean. But yeah, Jubster. He obviously signed with a good calibre, 27 goals for Blackburn, the Championship, Golden Boot and all. As Liam said, away from home, he was scoring some really important goals. That goal at Spurs will always live in the memory with me. Really good game. Even the Man City goal, for that moment when we were winning, the reigning champion, and it's like, unbelievable. What's going on? But yeah, it just hasn't really worked out for him, has it? And he's going to reunite with John Eustace at Derby if the right deal is agreed. Just your overall thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think you've covered most of the points there. It's interesting that it's Derby. It will be Derby because it's John Eustace, as you say. He was prolific at Blackburn under John Eustace, so it's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to bring that prolific goal scoring with him over to Ipswich. It was great for him to sort of link up back with Jack Taylor from the Peterborough days, but it's not really worked out for him. I mean, we've got some great memories. Like you just called out the Spurs goal, the Man City goal. He didn't really celebrate, did he, when he scored against Blackburn the other weekend as well? He may also have one eye on, he wants to be in the Ireland squad. The World Cup's not far away, and he's in the. When you play with McKenna and you play in the McKenna system, you're part of the squad. He probably wants to get minutes under his belt, and like I say, going to Derby, going under John Eustace, he probably will be the first name on the team sheet.
Yeah, very much so. And we signed him for 9 million in that Premier League summer. And yeah, it's just hasn't really worked out. He's still contracted though, Liam, to 2029. So he's got 3 years left on his deal. Obviously the current offer falls very short of the valuation. I don't know if he'll get 9 million for him because he is 30. As someone said, where is it? Let me quickly find it. Sorry for the person who did say it. That is the comment we've got right now. Mark Oldest. He's no spring chicken. Although I'm about to turn 30, so I can't really say that anymore, can I? But he is at that age where, you may not get that money back. But I'm sure. How much would you value him? How much would you want for him?
I think potentially. I think losing a few million on him is probably likely from what we paid. Remember as well, when we paid for him, we were going up to the Premier League. So there's probably an extra kind of Premier League tax that Blackburn were trying to get out of with obviously the Premier League money. I don't think he was worth 9 million in the first place, I'll be honest. So, but I would say probably looking at between, I would say 6 or 7 million. I think if we lost a couple of million, that's probably fair dues. Even maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 5. But we are going to take a hit. He is a depreciating player. He's not going to get any better than he is now. And obviously with his injury record and so on with us, we would be lucky to get anywhere near the 9 million that we paid for him.
Yeah, very much so. And sorry, I was just having a little look at one comment we got from Chris the Flash. He said, heard we've linked with Adam Armstrong and Imran Loser. Do you know if this is true? Heard from someone who works at the club, which people working at a club should not be spreading stuff. As Mark Ashton have said, don't share the links at, what's the stuff? The club suffers because of that. But Adam Armstrong, I've seen at Borough are interested in him.
Yeah.
And Loser, it sounds like he's going to be staying at Watford this winter, but you just never know. I love Loser, by the way. Loser? How are you saying it, boys? Loser?
Loser? Loser sounds really bad.
Yeah, it does. Like, it's a loser.
Louser, maybe.
Yeah, Louser. But yeah, he was unbelievable when we played Watford at Portman Road, and he would be incredible. But I don't know. We don't know much about that just yet. But it sounds like Am Armstrong is Borough's interested in him, and as I said, Louser sounds like it could be staying at Watford this winter, but in the summer there'll be loads of interest, I'm sure. But yeah, very interesting indeed. And Jobster, this sort of links up now to the next sort of chat with strikers, because this is from Tammy Golding, saying, we seem to sign Golden Boot winners and they flop. Let's hope that isn't the case with Peru, whatever. Of course, the Leeds United striker who was on the list of transfer targets for Ipswich Town. There's been actually reports in Holland that, because he's from Holland, we actually were surprised, weren't we, Liam? Like, oh, he's actually Dutch. You just know, yeah, you just think he's just, you know him as a Leeds striker. But thoughts on that? Because yeah, he's obviously a former Golden Boot winner. That would be a funny thing. Are we, for 3 windows in a row, or in quick succession, we've signed the Golden Boot winner from the Championship?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's proven at this level, isn't he? He's prolific for Leeds in their promotion season. They signed him from Swansea, where he's prolific there as well. I think we were at 40 plus goals over 90 plus appearances, I think, for both of those teams. So he really knows this level. Yeah, I mean, it would be a really good signing to you know, to put him in and head of Hurst and as on as well. You know, we in a McKenna system, he could only flourish, couldn't he? But we've got to see whether he wants to leave Leeds, though, don't we? First and foremost, I think he would prefer to stay there. I think is what I'm hearing on the rumour vine at the moment. But it would be a very good signing for us if we were to get that one through the door.
Yeah, I can imagine he wants to just be playing in the top flight. You know, he's already sort of proven he can do it in the Championship. I'm sure he's now wanting to play week in, week out in the top flight of any league. Yeah, Liam, he would be a statement sort of signing. We're screaming out for a striker. We'll be getting to that later in terms of, like, you know, if we don't sign a striker, are you worried? But thoughts on from João Peru?
Peru.
For my sake, we're not going to sign him, all right? Because I can't bloody say it properly.
But we wouldn't sign anyone if
true.
it was up to you on your pronunciation, I think. So we'll leave that element out.
I can say Enes Mehmeti, that's fine. I can say Azor Matasuba and stuff. I think you have to give me time. But yeah.
Peru is an interesting one because, again, I'm not quite sure that he's potentially the right sort of striker that Town need for the system that McKenna plays. Because a lot of people have spoken about George Hurst. And I mean, I'm not going to... I was with you on Saturday after the game and told you my thoughts on what George Hurst did on Saturday. And yeah, he was pretty abysmal. But you can't ever question his commitment and his work rate. And that's the sort of striker that has helped the system over the last few years, where they will chip in with goals. And I think he even knows he needs to score more. But it's no coincidence that during the promotion season, Broadhead, Chaplin was our top goal scorer. And Wes Burns, even Leif Davis was chipping in with goals. We were getting goals from all around the park, but the 3 behind the striker were the main ones getting the bundle of goals throughout the season that got us promoted. And we scored a lot that season because we obviously were winning crazy matches by 4 goals to 3 and 3 goals to 2. Peru, for me, he will score goals, but he's not the sort of pressing striker I think McKenna wants. I think McKenna wants a striker that will press, put the pressure on from the front. And with George Hurst, he absolutely runs himself into the ground. He isn't as good as he was a few seasons ago. I think he's struggled with his injuries. He's always had to keep fighting back from that. So I don't know about Peru. I don't know if that would be completely right. He will score, given the opportunity, but he's more of a box striker for me. And I think potentially that Town would have to change the way they play for him to be in the team.
Yeah, very much so. And from what we understand, that Town have inquired about him, about his availability early in the window, but no offers have been made. And there's obviously been a few other clubs linked with him. So we shall see. But there's one man who, is believed to be on Town's list, and that is Sam Szmodics, who's currently playing in America in Nashville. And scoring for fun in the MLS, which is very different to sort of Premier League and Championship. But get your thoughts on that Jubb stuff, because there's been a lot of people in the comments saying, yes, Sam Szmodics, please, because he's a player that's played in the Championship before. He's not in Forest. He was at Bournemouth once upon a time as well. Had a few loan spells. I think he was actually at Swansea as well. Maybe a teammate of João Pereira maybe once upon a time. Oh no, he's on loan. He was at Stoke as well. I'm gonna have a quick look at that in a short while. But just your reflections on him. He's a big boy, another big striker. He's 27. Would you like it?
Yeah, I mean, he fits the mould, doesn't he? He fits the mould of an Ipswich player as well at the moment, in the sense of his age, 27, good age. Was he second highest goal scorer in the MLS this season? I think behind Messi, with about 25 goals. So another one with good experience in the Championship, proven goal scorer. Again, probably to Liam's point, is he going to fit into a McKenna type system? Is that the sort of player that will fit into there? Time will tell. But both in Peru and in Szmodics, they're two really good key target people that we're looking at.
Yeah, very true. And Kian here, Levers, Szmodics will be preferred in my opinion, which is very good indeed. But then Dino, good old Dino, I'd rather have a proven striker than one just chases lost causes. But then Fadoli, like Kieran McKenna's strikers, they don't always score goals, do they? It's the wingers or the 10s. But your thoughts on Sam Szmodics?
I think this is a really, really hard window to do what they're looking to do, because you think about 2 years ago, we needed an upgrade and we got Kiefer Moore in, and Kiefer Moore came in, and he obviously it was the fact that Hurst was out for a while as well. But he was an upgrade. He scored goals in that period that helped us get promoted in a much harder season than we're facing right now with those 3 teams we're up against. But that was a loan. And as soon as we got promoted to the Premier League, they didn't go through with the loan because they didn't know he was going to be good enough. I think the danger here is that everyone's crying out for a striker to get to the end of the season, get us promoted. But if we're going to get one that's an upgrade on the players that are already in the door, you're going to have to pay money for a permanent transfer. I can't see any players out there at the moment that you could easily do what we did with Moore and have like a 6-month upgrade loan, and then we'll see where we are in the summer. If you're going to pay a lot of money, you're going to have to, and I know it's pretty presumptuous to say that we're going to be in the Premier League next season, because at the moment we're not even in the top 2, but everyone in the club, I'm sure from the start of this season, it was all about getting back to the Premier League with the squad that we've got. If they're going to pay a lot of money, they've got to be sure that the striker that they bring in isn't just going to get the goals this season, but is going to be at least good enough for the step up if it happens. And I think that's where it makes it really, really difficult in this month to do that with a permanent transfer. Szmodics has got the goals in the Championship in the past, and obviously is currently on form in the MLS, although the MLS is growing, but it's still not probably to the same level as European football, I would say, at the moment. And the Championship's one of the, I think it's like, is it the top 5 or 6 leagues in Europe after you take all the main top flights out? So it's a really, Szmodics would be potentially a good man to come in. He is, I would think he's a bit more mobile than Peru would be, more in that mold. I mean, it's for me, there's a question that we would come on to about any strikers that we might want, if there's any players out there. I haven't really got any names out there, but the attributes that I would be looking for in a striker, for whether it's the short term or the long term, is someone that is a mould between Liam Delap and George Hurst, someone who's mobile, who will be able to hold up the ball and bring others into play, which is what McKenna wants anyway. But what we got with Liam Delap, and obviously he's turned out to be a quality player, but what we got with Liam Delap was he had that extra bit of pizzazz that he did things for himself at the same time. So, and got his own goals. It wasn't all just being assisted. He was able to score goals from nowhere by bursting through and doing that. It's going to obviously be quite costly to get someone like that, but those are probably the perfect attributes for the striker that would work in a McKenna system.
Yeah, very much so. And to be fair, there's a comment actually from Sonic Banker. He's mentioned a striker, which we'll get onto shortly, but he also said about Patrick Bamford, his goal for Sheffield United. And we actually had this conversation in the car on the way home, me, AJ and Stu, like, is there any other striker would finish that? Would they finish that at Town? Like, would Hurst finish that? Would Azon finish that? If you could, Jubstar, he was obviously linked. Would you took him if he didn't sign that new deal? I know there's some people saying they wouldn't actually.
To get us through to the end of the season, yeah, I'd absolutely sign him, definitely. But Liam makes a great point there of take a step back. The January transfer window and trying to get a striker is so notoriously difficult. We've seen it over previous seasons, and other clubs see this as well. There's inflated prices. Do you get somebody in on a loan to the end of the season, or do you invest in that player? And depending on where you are at the end of the season, promoted or you stay in the Championship, they're on a deal. So it's not the best time to be looking for a striker. But yes, someone like Bamford would certainly help us. And probably would keep Hurst on his toes as well, because like we talk about, how Bamford knows where the back of the net is, and the guy who made the comment, scored with his eyes closed at the weekend. I mean, would Hurst do that? I'm not so sure. But I'm not Hurst bashing. Hurst is a good player and and plays in our system really well. But we also talk about goals, and we do score goals from other areas of the pitch as well. That striker is not.
Aren't we the top goal scorers in the league?
Yeah, this is what I mean. So we do know where the back of the net is, and and in today's modern game, if we're allowed to talk about it like that, I mean, in Philogene and in Clark at the moment, we're absolutely blessed on our left wing. They're both scoring goals for fun. So there are goals in the team. I think what we would prefer out of all of this is just have a few more from our striker, from our front man.
Definitely, and I know, a lot of people are saying Bamford no, but I just wanted to quickly mention it because he's not coming because he's just signed a new deal at Sheffield United. But I thought we'd just mention it. But yeah, there's gonna be loads of different names coming out of the list, boys. But Liam, big question is, if Town don't sign that striker, are you going to panic? Are we going to miss out on automatic promotion? How are you feeling? Let us know, ladies and gentlemen, your thoughts on it as well.
I'm not going to panic. I mean, look at the way the season's gone with the strikers that we've got so far. And we're third after a very slow, bit inconsistent start after the Premier League, and obviously a lot of changes in the summer. It did take a while for Town to get going, but look at where we are now. We're third. Yes, I think expectations are very high that people would expect us to be in the top two right now. And no one saw Middlesbrough and Coventry doing what they're doing right now. I expected them to be in there and around the promotion battle, but they've been way more consistent, I think, than people expected. But we're still third. Coventry obviously failed to put us 11 points adrift on Monday night by being beaten up north. And it's still 8 points. That's still 3 games difference. And it's not a huge amount with the amount of games that are still to be played. We've just gone on a run of 7 games unbeaten through what is probably the most tricky period of the season, when games come thick and fast over that festive period. So if we ended up staying with what we've got, then I wouldn't be worried. It would be a battle still, and I don't think it's a guarantee either way of getting promoted. But having potentially that goal scorer who will just add a few more goals than potentially what we've already got in the building will help bring confidence that we can get into that top two and stay there and make sure that we're back in the Premier League next season.
Definitely. And the big thing as well, Anis Mehmeti, some people may forget this, he has had a good season for Bristol City, and we just signed him for a pretty cheap price. He's got 8 goals and 6 assists this season for Bristol City. So he's a proven sort of goal scorer. He can get involved in the goals, but also assist Jubster. Yeah. How are you feeling about if Town don't sort of sign a striker? You know, someone mentioned actually Dino. He thinks it's the difference from top 2 to playoffs if we don't get a proven striker in.
Yeah, it could well be. You know, we like Azon when he comes on. You know, we get behind him, and certainly his last home game, you know, he was putting himself about and was really good. But it will be the difference between automatic promotion or the playoffs if we, you know, if Hurst doesn't start putting the ball in the back of the net. It's there for us to see in front of us, and that's why as Town fans we're talking about it so much here in this January transfer window. But I'll go back to my previous point. We do have goals elsewhere in the team, and you know, with Walton, which we'll come on to talk about soon, in back in goal, and with, you know, our defence looking fairly strong. We are defensively we're sound. We just got to just claw back Coventry. Let's concentrate on Middlesbrough first. You know, we've got a game in hand on them and win that, and I think we're 2 points behind them now. So let's claw back to Middlesbrough before we start thinking about how we claw back to Coventry. Is it 17, 18 games left still to go? So still plenty to play for.
And yeah, February though is going to be, I think, make and break for us because all bloody away, which looking forward to that. But go ahead, Liv.
I mean, the point I would say to that is I don't think that necessarily that is anything to do with whether we get a striker or not. Like the performance, yes, we could have scored on Saturday, could have been 1-0 up, but then we could have been 2-3-1 down before they got the first one. Like there were chances for both teams. It wasn't, but we were pretty poor as a team on Saturday, and the results that we've had over this season, where we've come away really disappointed. The Charlton game last year, some of the other, Leicester just before Christmas, they're not down to a lack of us having a proven goal scorer, because the whole team malfunctioned terribly in those performances. So yes, I think getting a striker will definitely help. It's not going to make anything worse, but I don't necessarily think that even with such a tough run of 5 games away from home in February, that if we didn't end up having the striker come in through the door, I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference in that respect. If Town perform like they have in these blips, then they will be beaten anyway, regardless of whether we get someone who can bang the ball in the net every time they touch it. It's whether we can take next month as a team and get the results we need, even if we don't win them all, making sure that any tight games we end up taking a point rather than any losses. And that's where I think that next month, that's the key thing. But as I say, adding a striker isn't going to hurt things. It's just finding the right one. I don't want to just go out and get a striker for the sake of getting a striker, and then it turns out that they've done nothing. So
I'm muted, unprofessional as always, Rossco. But I'm just saying this from Dino. He's going sharp, Liam. Goals win your games, as on Akpom, 4 in total. But Jalen Phillips and Jack Clark, 10, 11 goals each. So
that's the thing.
Very true. But I've got a comment here from good old Sai in sunny Spain, Jubster, and he said about how about trying a top goal scorer from League One? Ballard from Leyton Orient, 15 goals. I assume that's 2 assists. Walton from Stockport, 13 goals, 3 assists. And Ashley Fletcher, of course, played against Town. Did he score in that game for Blackpool? They scored, didn't they, against us? It was 2-1, wasn't it? I think he scored. He scored a penalty, didn't he? 12 goals and 4 assists. Worth a punt. Nout is guaranteed, but worth a go, I reckon. What can it hurt? He's always at risk signing a player from League One, but you just never know. I just thought I saw that comment. I thought it was just a nice one to add. Thoughts, Jobs.
Yeah, there are gems in the lower league. We know that from our time down there, don't we? So there are players that are worth a punt on. I'll be honest with you, I don't keep a check on League One these days, so I couldn't tell you who the top scorers were. But there's some good figures there, some good returns. Then might be well worth it. But our prize is bigger, isn't it? Our owners are ambitious. Ashton, well, we know he's ambitious. Get the cooking oil out and all of that good stuff. But we're heading to we want to get the club wants to be back in the Premier League, so we need Premier League quality. We need people that are ready to hit that ground running. We've had a rebuild this summer. The last thing we need is to get promoted to the Premier League and then have to have another rebuild and a complete squad change. So I'm not saying no to League One, but at the same time, I think we should be, as a club, probably looking a little bit higher at the moment.
Maybe like a young player who can be just here and we can grow. But someone like Ashley Fletcher, I think he's like in his late 20s, so probably not. But it's worth just mentioning. I don't mind that. And Lewis, good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're 30 minutes late, but thanks for joining us. Let's talk though. Let's move on because striker. We can be here all day talking about strikers. But we don't want to do that. We've got other things to do tonight. But this is from Suffolk Banker once again. Let's hope the new midfielder players suddenly create more for our strikers. Let's talk about. Obviously, we won't talk about because that's already been done and dusted. But Dan Neil, boys, was signed yesterday on loan for the rest of the season from Sunderland. Of course, captained the Black Cats, his boyhood club last season, to promotion to the Premier League, winning at Wembley. Hasn't been able to play much this season in the Premier League with Sunderland because they signed Granit Xhaka and some other good players. So very difficult to get into the team. But he's an experienced player at this level. He's won promotion, as I just said. Liam, thoughts on Dan Neil and everyone else get in the comments, your thoughts on that as well.
I think it's a very, very good signing. I think it's obviously what I said about obviously Kiefer Moore with the striking option 2 years ago. This is something similar. Obviously, he's out of contract in the summer. So he is a proven championship central midfielder. He was Sunderland's captain, so he's got leadership skills. But I think it's the key thing that he is now plugged that gap that we didn't have in central midfield, which is that Matasiwa kind of slight backup option. Obviously, he's probably going to play. It's not just going to be Matasiwa's backup, but at least we've got an extra player that is a bit more like him. Whereas we didn't have that in the midfield. We've got 4 different central midfielders. And if Matasiwa, obviously walking that tightrope, goes down for 2 games at some point very soon, which the betting odds would suggest he's not going to make it to March. Although he is doing very well to just about get through January. So you never know. He might pull off a Sam Morsey miracle and manage to hold out for another 8 weeks or whatever it is before it changes. But Dan Neil is someone who will make Town pretty solid like Matasiwa does in that midfield. So I'm perfectly happy. Brilliant signing. And obviously, if it goes really well, then potential then to see about maybe a permanent job in the future.
He's out of contract, isn't he, in the summer? So it's probably his decision, really, long term. But if he has a good time here, helps us get promoted. I know a lot of people going, well, if he wasn't good enough for Sunderland to be in the Premier League, why would we bring him? But he's not really been given a chance. I think Sunderland just knew they had to go and spend a lot of money, and which has worked out for them in the end. But
to be fair, he was replaced by Xhaka.
Yeah, which
So-
no offense, Dan. Grant Xhaka, yeah, pretty good. But I'm really happy with Dan Neil. Really, really happy with this one, Jubb stuff. But before we get into that, actually, get your thoughts on it. I want to bring up Azor Matasiwa. If he does get yellow carded, which games are you wanting him to? Well, we don't ever want him to miss games, but I'm just looking at in February. Like, say if he gets it on Saturday, would you be worried that he missed Pompey or Derby? Like, I don't know. Like, there's other games like Wrexham. Would you away at Wrexham, away at Watford? Like, if he gets it at Derby, that but then misses Wrexham and Watford. Like Swansea at home. Yeah, it's tricky.
No game is easy.
Yeah.
If I was to say 2 games, then it would be the first 2 would be Pompey and Derby, because I would see they on paper, and again it's not really a huge amount of difference because they're all away from home, but they would be the slightly easier for me. I think Wrexham are having a good season, so that's going to be tough. And Watford, you don't know what you're going to get from Watford, but they've got a decent squad. Yeah. And away at Vicarage Road, that's not going to be an easy game. So I would rather him play in those 2 games than potentially the first 2 if given the choice. But can't choose which games. We'll have to wait and see if he can keep himself from getting booked.
Yeah, Jubb, do you think he can beat that tightrope? Can he get to March?
Well, like you say, he's got through January, hasn't he? And there's been a couple of close calls, but we shall see. But you've already said, if it was to happen and he got that 10th booking and he misses 2 games, we know that Dan Neil will fit in and fill that slot quite easily. So we've got that cover now for that tightrope that we're walking. So we shall see. The other thing I wanted to just call out and talk about Dan Neil. I mean, that was a lovely montage from Sunderland that they posted on their socials. They didn't have to do that, so they clearly thought a lot of the chap. And some of the montage of goals that he scored. I mean, we've had a long discussion about strikers and where the back of the net is, but there were some worldlies that Sunderland put out there that Dan scored. So, if he does get on the pitch and we see a couple going in from 30 yards out, I think we'll all probably suddenly put this striker debate to bed. But I hope he gets his opportunity. I hope he gets the opportunity to come out and show us all what he's about.
Definitely. And the big thing as well with him, I think, he's there to be a backup for Azor Matasiwa, but I can see him actually potentially lining up with Azor as well. So Taylor and Custo will have to look over their shoulder as well. With me and Stu mentioned that when he obviously got announced, and he said, you can sort of fit there. So he's got the number 6 shirt as well, and just a solid signing. I think very sensible signing in terms of finding a player. He's still young as well. He's only 24, because he's made over 200 appearances for Sunderland, and he's still at that age. He's like Jacob Greaves in a way, where he's played sort of for his boyhood club, and he's played all those games. Liam, you want to say something, my friend?
No, just basically his age gives a lot of just because Sunderland went and signed a lot of players and he fell down the pecking order. Under McKenna, we've seen it before of McKenna making players better when they've come in, and he is a very good coach, McKenna. Then who's to say at 24 that he can't learn a thing or two from McKenna that will make him a decent potential Premier League level player for Town maybe in the future.
Yeah, very much so. So, all the best to Dan for the rest of the season. Hopefully he can be part of that team that does get that promotion. And, looking forward to seeing him play for Town. He just seems like a really good lad as well. This is actually a challenge for him, going to come down to Suffolk for the first time, away from home. He's obviously played at Portman Road many times for Sunderland, but this first time he's going to be moving away and stuff like that. If you haven't already, go and check out my insight that I had with a Sunderland podcast. Some really good insight, really good things about him. He's apparently not very quick. He's not slow, but he's not very quick. Don't expect a quick Dan Neil running around the pitch, but he is going to be a good interceptor and sort of starting off attacks. So we shall see. But let's talk about some other news that dropped this morning. We got the Sammy Smodics sort of rejected bid and everything, but that sort of overshadowed the Christian Walton new contract, boys? Because obviously going to be out of contract in the summer. Good old Christian Walton, but he's now signed a new 2-year deal to the summer of 2028. He's, of course, Town's number 28, Jubster. He's done very well, isn't he, since he's come in goal. Didn't have a great, obviously, first game against Charlton, but no one did in that second half. But since then, 9 clean sheets in 17 games, which is incredible. He's actually now at 50 clean sheets as a Town goalkeeper, which is incredible. In, I think, 100 and something games, which is pretty good going. Obviously, a lot of those clean sheets were in that League One campaign, which I wouldn't say it's been forgotten about, but because of the journey we've been on since, and we've had Vaz in goal, then Palmer came in, but Christian Walton, my friend, new deal, good to see.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant and well deserved as well. Yes, he was phenomenal in our League One season. So unfortunate at the start of the Championship season that to get injured, and then Vaz came in, and I think this is the story of our goalkeeping unit, isn't it? Walton was strong. Vaz replaced him, and Vaz just held on for the shirt for the rest of the season. Get promoted to the Premier League. Vaz decides not to stay with us and wants to go elsewhere, and Muric comes in. Well, less said about Muric, the better, I think. But Christian wasn't sort of given that run out of the team, and they went for Alex Palmer, and then we fast forward to this season, Palmer gets injured, and Walton just jumps and takes the shirt and the chance. So I'm really pleased for him. He's a solid goalkeeper, and I just think we're very fortunate that we have a very good goalkeeping unit here at our club, with Palmer in backup there, and with David Britton as well, don't we, as the third choice? So we're well blessed in that area.
Yeah, definitely. And as Suffolk Banker mentioned, Walton has been nothing but loyal, which is true, because he could have easily gone at one stage when Muric got signed. He was like, and then he was always going to be a starter for us because we've signed him for a bit of cash. But then obviously Alex Palmer came in when he got that injury. Unfortunately, Walton, he just got injured at the wrong time. But then he's then waited I wouldn't say he's been waiting for Palmer to get injured, but obviously Palmer's got injured, and now Palmer can't get into the team because why would you drop Christian Walton, who's keeping clean sheets, Liam? Because, I know there's been a few moments where, oh dear, I think even Walton actually joked in his interview saying, I know there's been times where some fans are getting a bit nervous when he's on the ball, but that's just the modern day of football. But he's made some incredible saves. Palmer, he's going to have to bide his time. But thoughts on just Walton signing a new deal?
I think it's the comment there exactly sums it up. He's been very loyal. We've signed him in League One to be the starting goalkeeper, coming in from Brighton, kind of making his first real proper home. As a young player from a Premier League club, he was probably out on loan quite a few times. So to be the first club to kind of properly give him a home as a permanent position to play week in, week out. And I think he would have expected to be there through the last few seasons. But as you say, things have changed. He was unlucky with the injury that led Vaz to go in. And even then, he's shown loyalty by not throwing his toys out the pram or anything like that. Didn't hear him talking about him losing his place and not being happy about it or anything. Because I think in terms of goalkeeping, I don't think there was a huge amount of difference between Vaz and Walton in the first place. The biggest difference is obviously Vaz is very much a modern goalkeeper that plays with his feet, whereas Walton is more of an old-fashioned keeper where it is keep it out the net, but potentially his kicking is not the best. It's not, you're not going, it is a little bit more of a struggle to play out from the back with him, but that doesn't devalue from what his job is to do, which is to stop goals going in. And I thought he actually had a really good game against Liverpool on the opening day of the Prem, when obviously we didn't have Muric in the door. And I think he was a bit unlucky to lose his place. And again, as you say, throughout that Premier League season, we had 2 goalkeepers that came in, one in the summer, one in January. And we didn't look within the club and just go straight back to Walton. He could have gone at any time. And the fact that he's kept his bided his time, kept his head down, and then come into this season, Palmer started, got injured, and from there, he's done exactly what Vass did to him. He's basically not looked back and has been absolutely brilliant, and at the moment, fully deserves the number 1 shirt.
Yeah, definitely. And Lewis made a good point. Any luck getting the bloke on who always walks behind the stream after games on game day? I hope he doesn't walk past me in my house or any of us. That would be scary, I have to admit. But yeah, food is very much in the belly. Lewis, it is in the belly. I've had a good bit of food today. Some nice food yesterday as well. Big shout out to Trong's. It's a Chinese restaurant in Ipswich. For my anniversary with my missus, we went there and. We ate a lot of food. But if you ever fancy some food before a game, and no, not before a game, after a game, this weekend, go down the Trongs in Ipswich. Very nice indeed. Anyway, enough about food. Walton new deal. Happy days. I'm actually having a quick look, boys. Well, we're going to do this. This is off the cuff. But there's a few other players out of contract in the summer. Who do you reckon's next? Because we've seen a few people sign deals recently. Jack Taylor, of course, was it last month he signed one? I'm having a look now. So David Button, sorry, David, but you're a third choice goalkeeper. Harry Clark, of course, he's on loan at Charlton. He's got an option. Then Connor Townsend, you'd think he may get another deal just to, because obviously an ACL injury. Ashley Young, he's going to probably retire. Cameron Humphreys, funny enough, he's out of contract but has an option. Wes Burns, that is probably the big one, boys. Actually, let's discuss about him. Jubster, Wes Burns is out of contract this summer. He's recently come back from an injury. Do you think he's next?
He's got to be, hasn't he? I mean, again, you talked about Christian Walton being loyal to the club. So was Wes. You know, one of the first of the 20 that came through the door. Storming League One, storming in the Championship. Unfortunate with injury in the Premier League, but could easily compete. He had an absolutely brilliant game against Liverpool on that opening game of the season, and we've seen the Wes of old since he's come back from his injury post Christmas. So I'd like to see Wes. I'd like to see Wes get an extension to his deal, definitely.
I think he just works so well in our system. And Ben, you have made a good point. He is our best right winger at the moment because Sindre is still learning. He should have scored at Sheffield, I have to admit, though. Casey McAteer just hasn't worked out at the moment, but it's still early days. I always feel give players a chance. But we won't get into that because I know it's going to be a big argument. So let's not get into it. But Liam, thoughts on Wes Burns? He's now obviously getting to that age where he probably wants a longer-term deal as well. He wants to think of his future. Once again, will he be good enough for the Premier League as a starter? Maybe more of a squad player? What do you reckon?
I mean, I've done one of these before earlier on the season where I'm sure I was on record basically saying that Burns will be gone in the summer. They won't offer him a new contract. And I think everything obviously would have pointed to that. But again, football's a funny game. Things change very quickly. And he has just slotted back in seamlessly. And you're right, he is the best right winger we've got at the moment. And I think
Ben, by the way, not me.
I think he though has the one attribute that none of the others have, and that is the out and out pace. And he hasn't seemed to be overly affected by the ACL. It doesn't look like he's lost too much in terms of that, and we haven't got anything like that. In the rest of the squad, if you look on the left-hand side, both Philogene and Clark, for as good as they've been, they're not out-and-out pace merchants, are they? And then on our right-hand side, Sindre is more technical, and McAteer is, I guess he's supposed to be like the quick one, but struggled since coming in. But I don't think they've got the same level of pace as what Burns has given us over the last few years. So it's an interesting one. I'm still not sure if Town go up, whether but maybe as a squad player, potentially might be something a little bit different to have in games. But definitely not a starter for me if Town do go up. If they don't, then I think he would be fine starting for Town next season in the Championship if that's the case.
Definitely, I think he'll get rewarded with a new contract, especially with. I think there was always going to be like, let's see how he gets on that sort of first month back from his injury, but the Coventry game, him scoring that goal, and he's getting to that point now where you want to see him start now, every game if possible. So good to see, and we shall see. And it's always interesting with the contract. Like Connor Chapman's out of contract in the summer. He's out on loan at Portsmouth at the moment. I'm sure that we'll get into that later down the road, because we could be here all night talking about every player and stuff like that. But we're gonna look ahead, of course, to Preston. We're gonna do Preston first, and then we'll end with a strike, because that's a good way to end the podcast, and people can disappear if they want to. But let's talk about Preston. Have to get revenge on them. After our trip to Deepdale early in the season, that 1-0 defeat, that penalty that condemned us, that defeat, Liam, which was an annoying day at Deepdale. Preston, they've been a bit of a dark horse, haven't they? Are they still up there? I know they got battered, didn't they, on the weekend? But they've been a bit of a dark horse, and fair play to Paul Higginbottom, who's done a pretty good job there. They dropped down to 9th. They're actually 3 defeats in a row, so actually no, they're not doing well. But they're still going to be a tricky game. Jubster, how are you feeling for this one? Back at Portman Road, hoping to bounce back after the Sheffield United defeat.
Well, yeah, we've made Fortress Portman Road now, really, haven't we, this season? We did 10 home wins, I think we've got in the league. So I think nothing more than 3 points, and certainly I know you don't want to talk about it, but we'll put Sheffield United behind us and get a home win this weekend. Their away record isn't too bad, is it, Preston? But like you say, they're three losses in a row. We don't want to talk about their striker, but it looks like he's come back from going to go off on another lengthy ban. I'm going to Portman Road full of confidence on Saturday that we'll have another 3 points in the bag, and we'll be looking to see how Middlesbrough and Coventry have gone.
Annoying thing though with Preston is that they're off the back of a hammering. Of course, they lost against 4-0 against Szmodics at the Riverside, so they're going to be a wounded animal going into this one, Liam. What do you reckon? Team-wise as well, McKenna made 5 changes at Sheffield United. There was obviously question marks about Leif Davis coming out of the team. Experimented, brought Jacob Greaves in. Could Dan Neil start? But he's not played football. What do you reckon?
Well, the form would certainly suggest that should be a comfortable home win. They've won 2 in their last 5, and had quite a few defeats. Looking at the form table, with obviously, as you say, 3 defeats in a row in their last 3 games. They are right in amongst it. I mean, you look at it, the Championship's such a strange league, isn't it? But you've got so many teams queuing up outside the playoffs who are just within a few points, and on a given day they might be back in the playoffs if the results go their way. So they're perfectly not out of it, but I expect Town to win at home. Preston, they're a bit like Watford, I think. They're a sort of team that you just don't know what you're going to get from them. They can be, I think they're better at Deepdale, but I can't verify that. I think they're better at Deepdale though, aren't they, than on the road?
It's from what I'm looking now, it's similar pretty much. It's 6 wins, 5 draws, 4 defeats at home, and then 5 wins, 5 draws, and 4 defeats away. So yeah, it's pretty similar, to be honest. So they're just a mixed bag team, really. Just mixed bag. But they've got some good results this season. But yeah, on the weekend, losing 4-0 against Borough, that's not good.
I have to put Davis back in though. That has to happen, especially at home, because I think I understand what I think he was trying to do on Saturday. I think he's seen how good he was at Coventry, Jacob Greaves in that position. And maybe he was looking at it as, let's be honest, Sheffield United were one of the form teams throughout the winter. Obviously, have had a really, really bad start and a lot of chaos behind the scenes, with Wilder out, then Wilder back in not long after. And they should be one of the tougher teams in this league. So it was always going to be a tricky game. And I think he was probably trying to make Town look a bit more solid away from home against a team who do have a potent attack going forward. But it didn't work. I think not having Davis there made us very lopsided, because I think the system, it works on Davis being in that team, going up and down that left. If you always look at our right-hand side, we always have cover with the right back and the winger kind of doubling up. Whereas on the left-hand side, Leif Davis is kind of just up and down, up and down. And I just think we didn't have that same for us on Saturday. And with us being at home, to be on the front foot, Leif Davis has to start. So that would be one change, definitely, to make. And then I don't think he will start, Neil. I'll be honest. I think McKenna's always been quite cautious with new players and giving them time to bed in. I mean, you saw it with Mehmeti at the weekend. Yeah. I mean, he has been playing football, but he obviously only signed like a few days beforehand, so wouldn't have had a lot of time with his new teammates. He got 20 minutes at the end, so we might see the same for Neil, but I doubt he'll start.
No, I think Mehmeti will start though, especially if the Szmodics situation, like maybe that's one of those where he won't be involved in the squad, because deadline day, of course, is Monday. But yeah, I think Mehmeti, I'd like to see him start. Any other discussion points for you, Jubster, in terms of 11? Anybody you'd like to see come in? Up top is interesting. Hurst didn't have a good game. Do you bring us on back in?
It's been sort of like the discussion of the season so far, hasn't it? We haven't seen, McKenna certainly is definitely shuffling his pack or for most games. So we could play this one until midnight tonight. Yeah, there will be swap around again at the weekend. I agree with you, Liam, that Leif will be back in the team. That'll be sure. Greaves will be back out on the bench. Mehmeti will start at home. Probably will go with Azon up front as well, and bring Hurst into the game later on. But then we'll have the discussion about Wally or Burns on the right hand side. Which one of those two will start? So we'll expect 4 to 5 changes again from the team that played Sheffield United. But I just go with the fact that we're at home, and we definitely have we're good at home. We've put the Premier League season behind us, where we only won that one home game, all of that. So with the crowd as well. We'll put the Sheffield United game behind us, and we'll get over the line against Preston.
Definitely, and as yes, a few people have been mentioning in the comments, obviously, as Szmodics is suspended for headbutting a person again. He's been suspended a few times. Do you know what? He would be a striker I like though, because he has scored goals, but he's just a bit of a hothead.
He's nasty.
So, he is nasty. But sometimes you need that. Obviously, not the other bits he's done. Obviously, he's the reason why he got suspended previously. But yeah, he of course scores goals, and that's probably going to ruin Preston's chance of getting in the playoffs potentially, because he's going to miss games. So it's just part and parcel when you have a player like that, because he's just a hothead. But he is missing, which is great, because that benefits us. But they've got some other good players in their squad, so we shall see. But predictions, boys, what do you reckon? Liam, are we going to get another win at Portland Road? Score and first goal scorer and all
that? Should win. I think I'll go with a 2-0 win. I think it'll be fairly comfortable in the end. I can see it being dominated by Town in terms of possession, and it's just a question of whether we can break them down. So that comment about Burns or Igeli on the right, I'd maybe go more for Burns with his pace to potentially stretch Preston and pull them out of position. Azon, for me, I think he has to start at the moment, because I think he's doing okay. showing a bit more going forward over the last few games. And I thought his hold-up play, bringing others into play, was far better than George Hurst on Saturday in his small cameo from the bench. So I think that's got to happen. I can't look actually, you know what? I'll plump for Mehmeti getting a debut goal at Portman Road.
I like that.
I'll put that out there. I was going to say Jack Clark, but I thought, nah, boring. Let's shake it up a bit.
I like it. Yeah, my hot take was on the weekend when Mehmeti was going to come off the bench and score the winner, but of course that didn't happen. So yeah, that'd be nice to see him score. Lewis gone early with his prediction, 2-0 Town as well. Hurst Mehmeti with the goals. Hurst to score, which would be good. He needs that.
I'd like it. And I don't want to sound like I'm bashing him all the time. I think he's really low on confidence at the moment, but he has really struggled. And I think at the moment it's right to take him out of the firing line. But if that happens, then happy days.
Yeah, happy days. We'll be happy indeed. Jobster, what are you going for?
Well, you've said it all, haven't you? But 2 or 3-0, I think is what the scoreline is going to be. It's another solid defensive show, and I don't think I think Walton will come away with a clean sheet to celebrate his new deal. But yeah, I'd love it to be Mehmeti to score on Saturday. He again, someone that knows where the back of the net is, been scoring for Bristol City. So yeah, let's say he opens the scoring. Let's go with that.
Oh, I like it, and a lot of people going for 2-0 as well. Andy Cracknell. I'm not attacking Hurst. No, not Andy. I know you're not. He's just not been great recently, has he? I think he's a good player, but just more out of form. I'll say 2-0. Tammy, I agree. 2-0 Town. Clark and Dan Neil late goal. Oh, I like that. Another debutant goal scorer. That'd be nice. But yeah, we shall see. What's Si going here? At the minute, he can fall over a blade of grass. Yeah, unfortunately. But
harsh.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh. But little bit Si. Come on, mate. But that's football, isn't it? All about opinions, all about different things. Players go hot and cold. Hurst could score a hat-trick on the weekend. We're all like praising him, and then he has one bad game. But it's just it's football for you. MS gone 3-2, 5-goal thriller. I don't know if that. I don't know. I don't mind if that happens if we're inside with 3-0 up or something. They score 2 goals, but they've got no chance of scoring a third. I don't mind. I don't mind seeing goals. I like seeing loads of goals. If they're neutral, it's good. Maybe for a Town fan and at home, but you never know. We've obviously seen a lot of goals scored at Portman Road before, but that is our predictions. And yeah, back at Portman Road, looking forward to it. Of course, the game before deadline day as well. Monday is going to be busy, I can imagine. Potential departures as well. You never know who else could leave the door. But let's end, boys, on the strike to end this mammoth fan social. I always say, just a little peek behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen. I go, let's try to keep this 45 minutes if possible. But because you lovely people watching, your great comments, we're here longer than planned. But it's fine.
And I'm here.
Yeah, Liam's on.
But that was Jobster's word, not mine. That was not mine. But good points. So yeah, Zach King, Dr. Zach King. What kind of doctor are you, Zach? Let us know. But he's gone 3-0 Town. Azon, Clark, Hurst. Mehmeti 2 assists, which would be nice. He's got 6 assists to his name this season already, so happy days. But let's get right into the strike then, ladies and gentlemen. At the moment, I think Ben and Peachy are the strike champions so far in 2026. Is Liam from Crewe or Jubster going to join them? We've got 5 questions, plus tiebreaker as standard. Get involved in the comments as well. Don't look at the comments, though, Liam and Jubster, if you haven't looked at it already, because we don't want any help. But we've got questions on players who celebrate their birthdays this week. And we're going to start off with a left back who is fantastic. He was unbelievable. He once wore a mask because he hurt himself. And that is Callum Elder.
I remember him.
Yeah. He of course was on loan during that relegation season. Or was it League One season? But what squad number did he wear during his time at Town? Was it 21, 25, or 29? Callum Elder, who's at Derby now these days. Callum Elder. It's not a bad career overall, really. Like, he's done all right. I need to make sure what I've done wrong as well. I've added.
Oh, God.
No, the time it disappears. The question disappears on
All right.
StreamYard. What we use, a new system, it's added this timer, 10-second timer. I went, no, I don't want the timer, but it just does it automatically. So I've got rid of it now, so it's fine. But yes, Kamala, what do you reckon, boys? Have a quick little look. And the Cracknell, bloody good left back. Elder is, yeah. To be fair, he's an Elder Championship left back playing for Derby, so not too bad. What do you reckon, Liam? Jobster
Went 29. If you can read
29. Yep, Jobster. 29 as well. Both gone 29. If Harvey, the Sweet Rouse Prince, was here, he would know this. Bang on. And he'll be saying to you right now, you're wrong because it's 25. It's 25, his squad number. So it's fine. You both got it wrong. So it's fine. You're both on 0 points. Going into the next question. Andy Cracknell got 25. Although, Andy, don't you do your Googling. You've got time to Google. These boys don't. But there we go. Question 2 is on an Irishman. Oh, by the way, Callum Elder celebrated his 31st birthday yesterday. So I want to mention that.
Many happy returns.
Yeah, belated birthday for you, Callum. But next up is Irishman Owen Garvin, who celebrates his 38th birthday tomorrow. Good old Owen. Should be still playing, but retired because of injuries and other things like that. He was sold by Roy Keane for which club in 2010? Was it Crystal Palace, Millwall, or QPR? I really liked Owen Garvin. He was like my first favourite player growing up in the 2000s or 2005 season. He broke through, but I really liked him as a player. He was our own Steven Gerrard in the midfield. Scored some good goals and was a solid player. Came through the youth ranks, of course. But yeah, Owen Garvin. Let me bring up the question again because the timer deleted it. Crystal Palace, Millwall, or QPR, boys? What do you reckon?
Went Palace.
I was going to say I went Palace as well.
You are both correct. He did go to Palace. I think it was George Burley who signed him actually at Palace because George Burley was the manager there. So very nice indeed. But yeah, happy birthday to Owen tomorrow. No, Friday. Yeah, Friday, not tomorrow, Friday. No, it's tomorrow. It's 29th tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going on bloody. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. The next question is on Ellis Harrison. Can't really say his name. The striker, of course, from that season. He celebrates his 32nd birthday tomorrow. He's at now Bristol Rovers. He scored once for Town during his one season. But who was it against? Was it Preston, Sheffield United, or Brentford? Was it Brentford, Sheffield United, or Preston? Scored one goal in, I think, 18 games. Ellis Harrison. Oh, David. Even guys from Ireland like that. God, good morning from the Philippines. Woo, what a way from the Philippines. Love that. There we go. And Suffolk Banker went Eagles, Crystal Palace for, of course, the Owen Garvin question. But yeah, Ellis Harrison, one goal for the Town. Who did he score against? What do you reckon, boys? It was a draw, by the way, if you want to add a bit of extra context to it.
As we're playing them, I've gone Preston.
Oh, Preston.
I got Sheffield United.
Sheffield United. Well, one person is correct. And that man is Jubster. It is Sheffield United. There was 1-1 draw in that game. So 2-1 to Jubster. Going into question 4. And it's this could help you out a little bit, Liam, because it's a Scottish question. Paul will love this in the background. But it's on Christoph Berra. I know you've got a good friend who's a Hearts fan. He celebrates his 41st birthday on Saturday. So when we play Preston, he'll be celebrating his birthday, doing what he's doing. But how many goals did Christoph Berra... No, it wasn't going to be which Scottish club he played for. No, it wasn't going to be that. That would be ridiculous. Just giving it away. But how many goals? Let me just take off the timer. I should have done this pre-record, but you know me, I'm all over the place. But how many goals did he score for Town in 185 games? Because, of course, he was known as a goal scorer from set pieces. I think in back-to-back seasons, he was just like scoring for fun, him and Tommy Smith. It was just great to see, and he scored a lot of late winners. I remember Christoph Berra. I remember the late winner against Derby at Portland Road. That was good late winner. I think there's another one as well. Birmingham City, I think it was, away from home. But yeah, I love Christoph Berra. Really did love him. Good defender, solid defender. Good signing from Mick. Good sort of like free transfer. Yeah, some good spells at the club. 185 games. What do you reckon, boys? If you get it bang on, double the points.
I went 21, but I don't know if I'm too low.
I got a little bit higher. I went 38.
38? Jesus Christ!
He was a good defender. He just knew where the back of the net was.
Yeah, but that's just a bit. Liam, what do you reckon?
21, I said.
21. That's somewhat more realistic, but 38. No offense, Christoph, but he's definitely not getting 38. I know there was one season he got 6 in a whole season. 38 goals.
He walked out with my son when my son was the mascot. There's a little claim to fame there. He walked out with Christoph Berra.
Love that. It's not 38. You're not going to bang on Liam, but you are the closest. It's only 14, actually. Only 14 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Which
it's not terrible.
Not bad, not terrible. But you are closest. So it is 2-2. Going into the final question.
Desmond.
Let's see. Yeah, Desmond. Lovely Desmond. Hopefully no Desmonds this weekend. Question 5 is on Brett Pittman, who also celebrates his, well, not the same birthday, or his birthday Saturday, but he turns 38. He's playing in non-league, banging goals for fun in non-league. But he is from which Channel Island? Is it Jersey or Guernsey? Brett Pittman. Jersey or Guernsey? I've been to Guernsey. It's actually really nice, Guernsey.
Yeah, I've been to Guernsey as well.
It's nice, very nice. I may give Jersey a go. I know good old Callum Brissett, who's a friend of the show. He's actually from Jersey. But Brett Pittman, is he from Jersey or Guernsey? Who else was famous? Like Matt Letizia, he was from. Was he from Jersey?
Jersey, I think.
Yeah. Wasn't Graham Lasso also from the channel?
Yeah, Graham Lasso. Yeah. Matt Letizia. I'm going to quickly look at Matt Letizia. I know he's obviously a bit bonkers these days, but let's see. No, he's from Guernsey. He's from Guernsey, Matt Letizia. But
a bit bonkers.
Yeah. Won't get into that. But what do you reckon then, boys? Guernsey or Jersey?
I went Guernsey.
I went Jersey.
Ooh! Love this. Unbelievable scenes. David's gone Guernsey as well. And Andy Cracknell's gone Jersey. So let's see if David and Andy, who's got it correct between them, but also Liam and Jubster, the correct answer is, doing a Davina here, is Guernsey. So Liam wins 3-2. There we go. And David, well done, my friend, all the way from Ireland. You also win as well. But Liam, my friend, as always, a tiebreaker is available. Are you going to gamble?
Yes, we'll gamble. I mean, I've always been tempted to say no, but I've been involved though in pub quizzes before where we haven't gambled, and we were very, very unpopular. So I'm not following that, even though I wasn't the captain who made those decisions. But I will give the fans what they want. Yes, indeed. Of course, though, Justin's got to get it bang on to take the crown. So we shall see if he does. And the tiebreaker is and the tiebreaker is on Town's new signing, Dan Neal. I've always got in my head that he's O'Neill, but it's not O'Neill. Why have I got O'Neill in my head? Dan Neal. Of course, he's signing from Sunderland. How many goals did he score for Sunderland in 201 games? What do you reckon? Let me just take the time off. As you say, you watch some of his highlights of some of its crackers he scored. I can't imagine all the goals he scored were in that highlight reel. But 201 games, obviously he's not a goal-scoring midfielder, but he scored a few in his career. Oh, God, I got it wrong, by the way. We've got to go back.
Paul, who's sitting next to you, Liam,
Yeah.
is actually Jersey. So Jubs has won. Oh, I just got it wrong. So Liam,
Well done, mate.
this is actually your chance to win on the tiebreaker. So Jubs,
I'm not gambling.
Overall. No, he's not gambling. Well, thanks for watching the Fan Social, ladies and gentlemen. It's been great to be joined. Oh my God. That's not good. So let's go back to Andy Crackers Cracknell. You've won as well, my friend. Sorry, David, you haven't won. Liam, you haven't won. I don't know why I got Guernsey in my head. I think because I said I've been to Guernsey. I don't know. Oh, I've had a mare there.
Isn't the answer in front of you, no?
It is, but not in front of me properly. Actually, no, yeah, it's actually in bold saying Jersey. Oh dear. Yeah, sack the board, as Lewis said. Sack the board. Get Ross out. Yeah, I'm out.
He's wetting himself here, by the way.
Thank you for correcting me, though, because we could have ended the podcast and then we wouldn't have been able to change it. I don't know how I would have done it. But Jubster, you have won overall. You're going to gamble? Are you going to do it for the fans?
Liam's got to get it spot on.
He's got to get it spot on. And in that time, he could have easily quickly Googled Dan Neal's goal scoring record for Sunderland, but I don't think he did because he was laughing at me and my just utter uselessness at times. But 201 games, Liam. How many goals did Dan Neal score? Get it bang on. Jumps, of course, still play at home. You could get it bang on. I'm going to double check this answer as well.
Yeah, do that. I think,
yeah, please.
Paul, as you're listening, can you double check as well, just in case? Please. But yeah, dearie me. How many goals though, Liam? Dan Neal. Don't tell him, Paul, by the way.
No, he's not. He wouldn't help me. I'm saying 11.
11 goals for Dan Neal. Jubs, what you reckon?
Well, it's got to be higher than 11.
Higher than. Okay.
Unless Liam's got it spot on.
You never know. I want a number though.
Oh, okay. 22.
22. Solid 22. I will admit. Oh, Liam. You were so close. It's 11 goals in the league, but it's 12 goals in all competitions.
Oh.
So close.
I mean, I'll just put this out here. I didn't Google anything, but I did before we came on look up Dan Neal in Wikipedia, and that's how I knew that there was 11. 11 goals there, but I obviously did not read that he scored in any other competitions. So
that's the thing. That's what takes, because you look at the scene. You look at basically when you got the profile, and like he's played 175 league games and scored 11 goals, but he's played 201 games in all competitions and scored that one goal. So
I did think the 201. I hadn't read that. I was like, oh, hang on. I'm sure it was 100 and something when I looked at it earlier.
All competitions, boy. All competitions. But good effort, mate. Very good effort.
Well done, mate. Deserved winner after the farcical end. Enjoy your tainted trophy.
Yeah. What a shambles. But Jubsy, speech. And I've just realised we've gone over an hour and 20 minutes. So it's nearly a bloody 4 minute, 90 minutes of football at this rate. Bloody hell.
I don't know what to say. In the strike, I'm normally just getting one question right, let alone beating people. So and guessing the right channel either. Amazing. Wow, thank you. I still bow in the to Peachy and Ben, and please don't ever put me in a competition with those guys.
The goal is potentially we are going to do a end of season massive strike with all the winners of the Fan Social. So
well, bye then. I'll book my holiday now.
Well, if you make an appearance, Liam, just in case I run out of people and you make an appearance, then you never know.
Oh, thanks.
come in as a default. But you just never. You got to win though. You got to win. But thanks everybody for joining us. Liam, who also said, where can I get a KOA shirt? We have got a merch store, which is, I think if you, mugs. Oh, God, all the boys are getting stuff. Yeah, mugs. There's other things you can get. There's hoodies.
I've been waiting for my hoodie for a while.
Well, I'll get one sorted for you because I want to get myself a new one as well because I can't. I've actually lost my one somewhere. I have recently moved house. But yeah, there is a merch store we do have. I think if you just put Kings of Anglia merch, you should be able to find it. Hopefully you'll be able to find it. If not, I think it is on our socials. If you go on our socials on Linktree, you can find the link. I think actually on the YouTube page it will be as well. So David, you want to get one, my friend? Then go on our merch. And yeah, they're pretty good fit. As I said, I've got this up here. It's not a nice fit, my colour as well. So good opportunity to plug the merch. So that's very good indeed. But Liam and Jubster, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining me. Very good input there. Talking all things Town, transfers, silly stuff, and Preston this weekend. Hopefully Town can get another 3 points on the board as we push, get back in the automatic promotion spots. I don't think it's spaces, it's spots. Anyway, I'm rambling on, but thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for allowing us to take over your evening, because I'm sure you could do something else. But you probably just got us in the background and you're just watching what else you're watching. But thank you so much for joining us. I'm rambling as always. Let's just wrap it up. But thank you so much. See you on the weekend. Back at Portland Road. Bring it on.